Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Boisterous coming to you with some more EPS action out of the map Newkirk Precinct. Spying down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we do have ESCeu's representative ShowTime as the orange Protoss player. Down here in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent Mouz's HeroMarine as the red Terran player. And I mean, I kind of got a splooge about these guys last game, but yet again, I mean, both of them are extremely good players. I'm sure most of you at least watched game number 1 of this series with ShowTime just winning a pretty solid macro game with just superior upgrades, and HeroMarine with a very interesting build where he really didn't get gas until like 6 minutes, just taking a loss. He just never had the medevac. He never had the medevacs, he never had the Vikings, he never had the ghosts to really beat down his opponent. I mean, his entire army was basically Marauders and Marines the entire way through, and that doesn't work out so well when you're facing off against a player of the caliber of ShowTime, or really of the caliber of any pro player, because they know what to build. I mean, they start out the game with Colossi production, and then as soon as they see you starting to like kind of shift more to the paradigm of like higher Marauder counts, they instantly swamp into a heavy charge lot Archon production, and you really can't fight charge lot Archon with an army of Marauders. It does not work. It's gonna be interesting to see if HeroMarine tries to go for another build like that. I think that this Newkirk Precinct, of course, might be the map where it may work, just because you can really have a strong mid-game push. It's much easier to deny your opponent the third base than it is on Derelict Watcher, because Derelict Watcher, it's pretty easy to just take that bottom ground right outside of your natural and right outside of your third and just hold it. But on Newkirk Precinct, it's a little bit rougher for Protoss players to hold any location like that for as long as ShowTime managed to do it last game, especially considering the fact that the push from HeroMarine can come much faster because the rush distance is just so much slower. We have an extremely fast CC first coming out from HeroMarine. It is going to be a 15 CC, which is absurd. We have an in-base gateway coming out from ShowTime, which is not too much of a surprise. It's kind of just the standard. He does get an assimilator, but interestingly enough, he only put one probe in it, and that probe is actually done with mining gas. Is it going to go back? No, he just gets up to 32 gas, and then kind of swaps it off. We have this annoying probe out on the front, just being harassing and killing off as many of these SCVs as possible. However, you know, the danger is that there is a second SCV out here now, so it should be pretty safe. It looks like we are going to have a small fight going down here, but we have HeroMarine with actually some reasonable worker micro repairing up those SCVs before they really get to a point where they're endangered. Like, we see him swapping off the SCVs. Actually, that's really fancy that we're building the command center so that we could have this second SCV repairing the first one, which is just, it's a cool thing to say. It's just such a small thing that not a lot of players do, but once you get up to the higher calibers of levels, not losing that SCV in the beginning of the game can be an amazing swing of momentum. Because, you know, it's so important to have every worker you can at this level of play. It looks like we do have HeroMarine yet again delaying gas for quite a while. I would have expected the gas by this point. However, he really just does not like that stuff. We do have 2 barracks coming out. I mean, I don't know. Maybe gas just smells funny to HeroMarine. I guess I can understand. It's just kind of strange to see something like that happening. He does have a pretty amazing economical lead at this point, at least 60 seconds on that command center over the nexus of his opponent, which is quite massive, especially considering the fact that he is Terran, so this orbital command will be dropping out so many mules so much faster. And it looks like we are going to have a small Marine count out on the map right now. Not enough to do any real pressure, but enough to kind of just be sitting around and being like, yeah, you know, I'm Marines. You really can't come in here yet. You don't have the Stalker, because you really need the Stalker to actually do any sort of pushing harassment to those Marines. So he will be able to hold his front for quite a while here. He does, of course, now have that critical number of like 5-ish, where it's going to be very difficult for ShowTime to break through. I mean, with amazing micro, it's possible, but it's not going to happen at this level, especially because HeroMarine is going to have the micro he needs. It looks like we are going to have some Marines sitting in the main base, just being here in case the Mothership Corps decides to come in, because of course 3 Marines is a pretty comfortable amount to deter Mothership Corps. They do snipe off those shields amazingly fast, and as soon as the shields for Mothership Corps is done, you're in a pretty dangerous position. We have HeroMarine with fairly faster gases here. I mean, he has his factory coming up at around 6 minutes instead of, you know, the gas is coming up at 6 minutes. So his build is very similar, but it definitely is getting that gas a little bit faster, which is a strong choice against his opponent, especially considering the fact that ShowTime is going for so much faster upgrades this game. We have a 6-minute forge going down, and this 6-minute forge will mean fairly fast upgrades for our Protoss player. It looks like we are going to have observers now pumping out for ShowTime. He did, of course, go 1 gate into Robo instead of 3 gate into Robo like he did last game, so we are going to have much faster observers, so he is going to have a lot more information on his opponent. But at the same time, you know, HeroMarine is just playing a lot more solid this game. There's not quite as much to abuse out of HeroMarine's build right now like there was with the no gas earlier, because no gas means there's really no counter for Colossi out. We do have Widowmine production actually starting up for HeroMarine, which is kind of interesting. We actually did not see one Widowmine out of that last game, I do believe. I mean, you know, Widowmines are kind of something that's become almost the standard for Terran players to go to, and having him not go for those Widowmines was definitely interesting. It looks like we are going to have this observer floating across the center of the map, and we are also going to have this starport just about to finish. We do have tech labs now coming up onto these barracks, excuse me, so he will be able to get that combat shield and that stim pack upgrade out finally. And oh wow, HeroMarine with nice map ability here is just going to be standing on the ledge of his base. ShowTime a little bit confused there, being forced to pull back his observer. He's like, do you know this observer is here? And do you really? We do have a dark shrine coming out from ShowTime, so we are going to have a small amount of cheese from ShowTime. This is really just going to be more of a pressure play, though. I'm not sure how effective it's going to be, considering the fact that, I mean, HeroMarine has 2 command centers down. He has all of his tech down that he needs. He even has Widowmines down. Widowmines, I do believe, can actually get shots off on Dark Templar, I think. I'm actually not sure about that. I've never actually, that's probably something I should know. Can Widowmines get shot on, can Widowmines get shots on cloaked units? Yeah, I'll figure that out in the future. We are going to have the proxy pylon going down for ShowTime as the drop from HeroMarine prepares to send itself across the map. And this is actually a 4-Marine, 2 Widowmine drop, which is pretty scary. We also have the Warp Prism in production for ShowTime, along with +1 weapons. I think +1 armor was already researched and finished. Yes, indeed it was. It looks like this it looks like this medevac is going to get in the main base and be like, no, I'm good, Protoss army. You can have your base. I'm fine with it. You can just stay there. I'll just chill out. I don't need that base. It's okay. It's okay. Just don't freak out. It looks like we are going to have 2 Dark Templars warping in right now, so it's all going to be about how much damage these guys can actually manage to do. I mean, this is going to be a very, very major point of this game. He really needs to kill off at least 5 or 6 SCVs to justify their production, and hopefully more, but the issue is that we already have missile turrets in both worker lines to kind of deter any sort of airplay. It's going to be reasonably easy for him to be able to kill off these Dark Templars. Like, even if he just attacks with workers, these Dark Templars aren't going to be able to get a whole lot done. There are Marines now killing off the Dark Templar, and they're the second Dark Templar in the main base. Will go down. The one on the natural goes down. He manages to kill off 12 workers, which is pretty good. I'm not sure if it quite justifies it. I know I said 6, but even then, with how much Dark Templar themselves cost, like just to warp in, not to mention the amount of tech time it takes to actually get those Dark Templar out instead of going for something like High Templar in Storm, it's still in a little bit of a rough situation, especially considering the fact that HeroMarine, that was a pretty solid window to go for the counter push. Of course, ShowTime does have a couple of Immortals, and this army is reasonably heavy on the Marauder front, so he's going to be in an okay position, but with good Widowmine hits, we could see ShowTime taking, we could see HeroMarine taking a pretty dominating lead right now. This Widowmine is just being super annoying right now. It looks like a Observer does get sniped, so good sight by HeroMarine there. A force field wall does go down in the main base. We do have a double drop moving up into the natural, or into the main, excuse me. And they will be going down as fast as possible. And oh my god, just a little bit of a misclick there is going to cause those Marines to get dropped down on the low ground. It looks like a couple of units will get sniped off here. They will be forced to stim back. They will manage to kill off. Nope, not a Zealot. Alright, so HeroMarine really didn't get anything out of that. I mean, ShowTime just has such impeccable control with those force fields, and he's just so good at defending, especially considering the fact that he has this massive buffer of Zealots out on the front, and, you know, with a pretty big buffer of Zealots, he's going to be in a comfortable position to hold off a lot of these early aggressive attacks. We do have a command center just now finishing up for HeroMarine, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see a third base coming out here. The Widowmine just being super, super duper annoying. Is there an observer out? No, there's an observer. No, there's not an observer coming out right now. Man, that is just bothersome. There, the observer is there. Finally, it does manage to kill off that Widowmine, but that was just annoying for ShowTime, and we are going to see HeroMarine taking a much, much, much faster third base. I mean, it's basically going to be landing and starting to mine by the time ShowTime's is starting to build, which is a pretty big economical difference. We are going to yet again have this Dark Templar sneaking in here. Is there a Dark Templar in the main base? No. It was just in the natural, and it was just being annoying. Still up to 19 workers killed, pretty nice, but that kind of is balanced out by the fact that this third base is so much faster, and even then, I mean, just with mules, it's pretty much balanced out. If we look at the actual workers tab, you know, he's only down 8 workers, which is pretty nice for a Terran player in this situation, especially considering the fact that ShowTime put so much money into that Dark Templar attack. Now, a big thing about HeroMarine's composition that was much different from the last game is that he has so many more medevacs, and this medevac count is really going to help out when it comes to these engagements. It looks like we are going to have a small flank force, which is pretty cool from HeroMarine. The issue is that the attacks just were not balanced enough, and oh my god, these storms are so beautiful, just sniping off so many of these units. He is going to be forced to retreat right now. He should not lose off too many of these medevacs. He will actually be able to kill off quite a few zealots here, which is a pretty nice trade before having to fall back. And, you know, he's been playing pretty solidly so far this game. And honestly, HeroMarine is actually in a pretty decent position to take this. I mean, he does have Hellbats finally in production, and those Hellbats are going to be amazingly important when it comes to ShowTime's Charge Lot Archon mix that he went for in that last game. And these Hellbats are going to be amazingly good when it comes to actually like soaking damage from storms and soaking damage from Colossi and dealing damage to those Zealots, because they absolutely tear through Zealots. It takes 5 shots for a Hellbat to kill a Zealot, and they're absurd. They're just like... That was my flamethrower sound effect. I'm pretty good at it. It looks like we are going to have +3 ground armor coming out for ShowTime. What sort of upgrades he has? He has 2-1 right now. He's going for 3-1, and he really does not have the upgrades he had last game, because last game, I mean, at this point, he was going up to 3-3, and that was a pretty nice spot to be in. Of course, he's still in a slight upgrade lead over his opponent, but that's not going to last long, because we are going to have +1 arm or weapons coming out, or +2 weapons coming out, excuse me, and +2 armor is also going to be finishing up quite soon. We do finally have that Mobius reactor on the way, so Ghosts will be in production for this game, and HeroMarine... Maybe, I mean, I think HeroMarine should be in a pretty comfortable position here. I mean, he has a nice army. That's really all I can say about this, and I think he might be able to smash across his opponent and really take him down. And, I mean, these Ghosts, they do have EMPs out. They don't have too many, but it's all going to be about whether he can land those EMPs on the High Templar. That's really the most important part of this game at this point. It looks like we are going to have a small hit squad moving out. They will be able to kill off that one Zealot before retreating back, and they will be running like sons of bitches to get out of there, but they should be able to escape pretty easily. I mean, this Hellbat is going to be running away quite awkwardly, but honestly, you could probably 1v1, or well, 4v1 all those Zealots and just yell, you know, pistols only, bro. And really take over that situation. And yeah, that's right. Hellbats are actually douchebaggy Call of Duty players. You know, 1v1 me, bro. Anyway, we are going to have the drop of Zealots coming into the main base, and honestly, ShowTime's been doing a really nice job of just being annoying with those Zealots. If we look at the workers kill tab, he's up to 29. Of course, the issue is that he's spending so much time actually sending in workers, units like that, but then at the same time, I mean, his macro is not at the same level of HeroMarine. I mean, we are going to have a max v max battle, but we are going to have HeroMarine with a nice flank over onto the side here, might be able to get in here and kill off of these Colossi. He does not even really need the Vikings. Oh my god, just beautiful control from HeroMarine with that flank around onto the left side, and he will just be able to smash this army. And at this point, he should just be thinking about moving across the map, because this is a very scary force, and he is going to be doing just that. He is, of course, in full production mode, but with 60 supply up as a Terran player versus a Protoss. I mean, I don't think ShowTime has it in him to hold off this attack yet again, especially considering the fact that he really does not have buffer units for these Colossi. He really needs them, because these Colossi are just going to get wrecked by this Bio army. And there's just so many medevacs in the sky that even if he was like shooting at the units, they wouldn't die, because there's just way too many medevacs. We do have storms kind of out here, but you know, 3 storms is not going to be able to stop an army of this size. It might be able to kill off a couple of the medevacs, but now we finally have pretty reasonable micro coming down from HeroMarine, so he will be able to stop that. There was a couple of Morphins of Archons, but it really just does not matter. HeroMarine up by about 100 supply should just be able to smash through this attack, and I would not be too surprised to see the GG coming out from ShowTime, and HeroMarine actually being able to bring this game back to a tie. It's going to go all 3 games, and it's going to be interesting to see which player can really win it. I mean, HeroMarine with a very beautiful build there. It was kind of like the more refined version of that build from his first game, going for a much faster gas, which was just so important. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. If you want your games commentated by me, you can send them on to boisteroussc2@gmail.com. Also, if you like more Boisterous action, head on over to youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. This is Boisterous, signing out.